Así que, hola, ¿qué tal, amigos de... ¿Cómo se llama? I forgot the name. Hola, ¿qué tal, amigos de Life to the Food? Estamos aquí en nuestro segundo podcast. Este podcast va a ser en inglés. Tenemos nuestro primer invitado, el capitán del equipo de nosotros, Justin Devlin.
Yeah, I'm Justin.
So yeah, we're just gonna be talking about his testimony, his walk with the Lord, and whatever you just want to share with us. So Gusto, you have something to say before we start?
Yes, just whatever God puts in Justin's heart to share with us. So yeah, just start by saying like where you come from, just a bit about yourself for people to know you.
Yeah, obviously you guys know me, but they don't. But my name's Justin Devlin. I'm 23 years old, and I'm from. I'm old.
I'm old too.
Hey, that's gonna be you soon, too. And I'm from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Ireland for a lot of people because they don't know
Right.
the difference. And I'm obviously captain here on the soccer team, and I've been here for. This will be my 3rd year, so yeah, it's been good.
Well, the reason I'm wearing this shirt is because you're from Ireland, and this is the closest thing I have to like British accent.
British. What's up, mate?
So awesome. So our first question for you, I guess, would be, how did your journey in sports begin? So like just as a kid, how it started and all that.
Yeah, obviously growing up back home, soccer was sort of the only real sport that I was around. We obviously have like rugby and Gaelic, but obviously I'm a small skinny lad, so I wasn't going to play any of those. And obviously I come from a Protestant background, so was never going to play Gaelic, or else it would have been just kill the Protestant guy. So yeah, I got into soccer. My dad, he played at Linfield, which is a professional team back home. He played in their academy team growing up and stuff, so he got me into soccer from I can remember. I'll actually send you a picture so you can like edit it in. Yeah, right here, guys. Of me holding a soccer ball when I'm like 1. Like it was like one of the first things that I ever got. And then I started off going to a thing. It's called mini soccer back home. Okay. So it was basically like you were like 1. I think it's 1 years old till maybe 5 years old, where you're just going and you're just like learning the basics, like your toe taps and your like all the core. The covert sort of training stuff. So was going there, was obviously getting the love for it then, and then joined one of our local teams called Shankle Juniors, and there's when it all began. It was just a club team, like a local team back home, so all the boys that I was friends with were all on the same like team and stuff. So it was amazing, and like we went on to win cups and stuff, and that was just so sick. But I remember like one of my very first games. We actually, so our jerseys got passed down from the team above us, and I was wearing like this like huge extra jersey. Long huge jersey, bro, and I'd done the warm up and stuff, and then went to go and pee like before the game started, just in the trees, and just lifted my jersey up, and I didn't have shorts on. So I was like starting the game, didn't have shorts on, had to like sprint the whole way back to that. Spent the whole way back to the change room, like, coach, I got shorts. So I ended up not starting my first game, and I was like so pissed. But it's just such a cool story, and like the parents were like walking past, being like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I forgot my pants," like freaking out. But yeah, that sort of like is my first like very fond memory of sort of soccer, and obviously it's a good one to tell.
So explain a little bit more of your background, like your Christian background in Northern Ireland. Because I know there's a lot of churches in there, old churches that we visited. So explain like how do you know Jesus? How did you first hear about him?
Yeah,
just your background.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I went to Sunday school, but I usually just went for the sweets, and one of my friends went as well. So, it was sort of just a nice time to hang out. Plus, then they'd done soccer there, so that was like a main focus for me. Was just like I just wanted to play ball, and obviously not growing up in a Christian family, I didn't really get to know the Lord until I was maybe around 10, I want to say maybe. So my grandma, it was my dad's grandma, she passed away with cancer, and before she did, she got saved. On her deathbed, she gave her life to the Lord, so praise God for that. And like ever since then, like my dad was sort of like, I feel like I've got a calling to go to church, and he wanted us to obviously go along and support him, and that's what we done as a family. Like my mum was never into it. Like my dad and mum were were like partiers and all that sort of stuff. And but obviously I was still a kid, so I had no
Right.
choice but to go. So basically, like, that sort of started it. My dad was like, "Hey, we'll just go like once a month to just like try it out and see what we like how it is, or learn more about it and stuff." And um once a month turned into once every week, and once every week turned into twice a week, and
Nice.
that sort of stuff. And then that then progressed into like going to youth and going on camps. And one of my best friends, Paul, back home, he was a great influence for me, like from a young age, like trying to sort of push me towards Christianity and getting to know the Lord. But obviously as a young kid growing back home, and not a rough sort of area, but more like a
Complicated.
yeah, you know what I mean. It's like you want to choose your own path, and
Right.
my parents gave me a choice at that. So I didn't really get to know the Lord until later in life. And like, I always knew about God. I was going to church, and I actually got saved whenever I think I was 16. I got saved, and I got baptized with my grandma, which was a super amazing like experience. But I just didn't know like the actual true meaning of like actually giving my life to the Lord. I knew that He died on the cross for me, and He'd saved me from my sins, but like, I still wanted to go out drinking, I still wanted to go out partying, I still wanted to like go to the clubs and enjoy all that sort of lifestyle, whilst also still going to church. So I'd be out partying on Friday and Saturday, and then going to church on Sunday.
50-50.
You know what I mean? So it was like that sort of Sunday Christian, like
Right.
living for the Lord on a Sunday, and then living for myself and the worldly stuff on the weekdays. And obviously, like, as you get older, you sort of realize, well, like this isn't it. Like, there's no satisfaction in this stuff. And that really hit me coming to Taylor. Like, before Taylor, I was at Westcliff, which is a school in California, and had a great time there. Met so many amazing people, but sort of was still living that same lifestyle of going out partying and drinking. And obviously, when you're surrounded by a team and a group of boys who all have that same sort of background, it makes it easier to go and do so. You know what I mean? And then obviously once I left Westcliff, I went back home for a while, and got like going to church and stuff again, and was just really praying that like this wasn't the end for me, that I was able to come back out to America somehow. And like, my whole story about being in here at Taylor is like a full God thing. Like, it's insane. So to have that happen, like, I was praying, I was like, Lord, like I don't know why I'm back here, and I know that I haven't been living for you, but whatever you want for my life, like, just let it happen. And then obviously Coach Ross it
Shout
got
out
back
to
to
Coach
me,
Ross.
and yeah, shout out to
Awesome
Coach
guy.
Ross for real. And he's actually I would say he's the main reason that I'm where I am in my faith journey right now. Apart from obviously the work that the Lord's done in my life, but he used Coach Ross as a mentor and someone to look up to, and someone who like I viewed as like that sort of like spiritual leader in my life that I needed. And it wasn't like no weak-minded stuff. It was like how to be a like spiritual person in the toughest, most like craziest, insane way possible. And I'm like so grateful that I actually got to have him as a coach for a year, and got to experience that, and learn the hard way very early on that my old ways was not going to cut it here at Taylor. So ever since I came here, I sort of developed my faith a lot. And just whilst being here, like, just obviously said the prayer and stuff again of just recommitting my life to the Lord. And it's been amazing. Like, obviously there's been still obviously ups and downs and stuff. Like, I just went through surgery, my like third one of college and
We'll
stuff.
get to
So
that.
yeah, we'll get to that. But you know what I mean? It's like everyone thinks, oh yeah, like I commit my life to the Lord, and it's like all sunshine and rainbows and beautiful views like this. But it's
Right.
not. It's like it's what we're
There's
sitting
much more
on.
behind it.
It's the hills and the mountain tops and the valleys and the lows. But me and Gusto were actually talking about it earlier, and I know you guys talked about it last night. But like, for me, I believe it's a choice every single day when you wake up. Whether you wanna, like, how even you start your day off basically like impacts that choice.
Right.
So like, if you start your day off of like social media or whatever, and there's like a lot of girls on the social media or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, obviously that's not going to help with sin and temptations and all that sort of stuff. Rather than if you're starting your day off with the Lord, like, that makes a huge difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like choosing to start your day off with the Lord, and something that we've been doing, some of the guys from SCA, is it's called like the 10-second challenge, and it's every single morning when you wake up, the first 10 seconds of like you getting out of bed or whatever, before you do anything, just get on your hands and knees and just breathe. I'm like, all right, Lord, whatever way you want to use me today, use me. I'm yours.
That's awesome.
And that's been huge for me, just to see that, like just starting the day off with that, or starting the day off with like worship music or
Right.
something like that. I see it definitely makes like a huge
Just
difference.
starting
on my
your
life.
day off with God right away.
Yeah.
And I think that's just awesome how all of these happened just because of a hard moment back then for your dad.
Yeah.
You know, how that
Yeah.
hard moment helped your dad find God. Then because your dad found God, then all of his family just followed him.
Yeah.
And he just changed like a whole generation after that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's just awesome how
Yeah.
God uses,
Oh, definitely.
tough moments for
Definitely.
life changing experiences after that.
And it's like that split second, like, can change anything. You know what I mean? Like that one interaction with someone,
Yeah.
like you could change somebody's life forever.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? So like, and that's what we're called to do. Like, how can we impact people's days in a different way, in a different manner than everybody else? And that a world that looks crazy and it looks stupid and it looks like we're absolute like psychopaths.
Yeah.
But to us, it's showing love. It's showing the love that God had and that Jesus had, and he's obviously our example for it. And like the stuff that he done, like we'll never be able, like we won't even be close to, like being as perfect as what he was. But we try to be, and we strive for it. And when we don't get there, we still beat ourselves down, like when we fail and stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I try and do every single day of my life, is how can I be a positive light on people's lives? Like, no matter what's going on with me, like no matter what's going on in my life, like if I walk around like the world's just beat me up, it's pointless. You know what I mean? Like, because I know that I'm not living for the world, or I'm not living for the people that are here. Like, I'm living for something that's way greater, way better, and something that's actually like very hard to explain until you're actually in it. You know what I mean?
Bro, that's beautiful for sure. And we were talking about it a little bit last night about last night how we don't have to be the main character here.
Yeah.
We just gotta be, like an instrument for other people.
Yeah.
And just like
Being the tree that you
like
mentioned.
the tree. We were talking about the story of, I don't know how to say that in English.
Saqueo?
Zacchaeus?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Zacchaeus? Yeah. You know how hard it is to read the Bible in 2 languages?
The names changed so much.
Bro, names changes so bad. But
What
yeah.
is it in Spanish? Saqueo?
Yeah, Saqueo.
Okay.
But yeah, bro, we were saying how the story always focuses on him instead of the tree. And we have to be like the tree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just the same thing you were saying. How just what Coach Ross did with you changed your entire life after that.
Yeah.
And how it's still changing, because we change every day. But I mean, I just think that's beautiful what you said about, like, just gotta be better every day and try to be more like him every day.
Yeah.
And every single little interaction you have with people, just try to make it as better as you can, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
And people are proud. Like, I think people would see me on campus and stuff as like that sort of person that's friendly with everyone.
Yeah.
But that's not because I just want to be friendly with everyone or whatever. You know what I mean? Obviously, like, I love interacting with people and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, if I can go over and talk to you and literally brighten up your day, like, I'm gonna go and do that. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna try and do it or whatever.
Yeah,
And obviously, there'll be days where I'm like, wow, I need someone to come and brighten up my day. You know what I mean? But I just pray a lot about it, and just literally every single morning, like even during the summer here, I've just got out of bed and went on a walk.
Yeah.
And I'll go on a walk and I'll just pray. And I'll be like, Lord, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know where you want me. I don't understand it. But use me whatever way you want. And it was actually funny today, like we were talking about it earlier a little bit, but like I've been struggling obviously mentally, just like being here, and like I was supposed to be with my brother for coaching, and obviously everything changed with surgery and stuff. And this little girl came up to me today and handed me a piece of paper, and it was a colouring in, but it was like,
And we saw it.
yeah,
We saw it.
you saw it happen, so you can vouch for it. You know what I mean? But it was like, trust God in the delays and the changes of directions. I actually wish I actually put it in my Bible, and kept it there.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, Like what?
Wow.
Like what the heck? Like all it took was this little girl. Like she must have been what 2, 3, maybe a bit older. But
Like
No, I
one,
would
bro.
say
yeah,
like what?
Like 2 or 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one for sure.
but literally just running. She was just running around like church and stuff. And we didn't even know there was like a kids church on today. So we were like, oh, there's a kids church on. And it was fun. Like it was fun to be there. But like this little kid just comes over and hands me this piece of paper with two coloring ins.
Mm.
And I read it and I was like, wow, like that's the reminder I needed today. You know what I mean?
And then
That's
that's
nice.
just like people say, like God is in the details. You know?
Yeah.
He's like we always expect for him to like show up in a big way.
Yeah.
Like physically there, or like maybe like actually hear him or whatever. Like
Mhm.
whatever you might say, but he talks to you through people. He talks to you
Yeah.
through situations and all that. And I think
Yeah.
that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Also, I just think that something you mentioned earlier about like your environment,
Mm.
that we as Christians we have a choice. If we go to an environment that's different from ours, we can either like get their culture, their traditions, or we
Yep.
can change them.
Yeah.
So we had that opportunity to like be different,
Yeah.
be different than people, and change the environment around us.
Yeah. A great example of that is something that like Professor Stuckey. So shout out Professor Stuckey on this one.
Yeah,
Absolute legend.
she's great.
Amazing. But something that she taught us in our senior sports management class was
That's your major.
yeah, that's my major. Sorry, sports management is my major. I want to someday hopefully do what Coach Ross done and impact people for the kingdom
You will, brother.
through soccer. But what we learned was okay. So there's 3 different things you can become in an environment. So think about boiling water as the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So it was
I heard that reference.
you can be a carrot,
Yeah.
you turn what soft.
Mm-hmm.
You can be an egg. What happens to an egg in boiling water? Turns hard.
It's hard.
Oh,
Hard. So
Hard?
hard. So then you've got a hard part. Yeah. Because if you boil an egg, it becomes hard.
Yeah.
And then if you put carrot in water, it becomes soft.
Right.
You put a coffee bean in hot water, what happens?
Changes the water.
Change the water. So the environment changes.
Sorry, guys, I don't do coffee. I don't know.
That's caffeine addiction
But
over here.
That's very good though.
But you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
and it's something that like, it's something that like my parents still struggle with back home and stuff. Like obviously they're not at a Taylor environment, you know what I mean? And me and my mum actually had a conversation about this just not too long ago about the environment and stuff. But yeah, it's just how can you be that coffee bean? Like how can you go into an environment and change it? How can you stand out and be different? Not for yourself and not for people to be like, why is he weird? But if people do ask that question, it's great because then you're able to share like what the Lord's done in your life and how He's working for you and why you're different because you're following God instead of the world. You know what I mean?
I think God can send you to a place for 2 reasons. One, to prepare you and teach you and all that. And then the second could be for you to change that environment.
Yeah.
And I think if He sends you to do that, it's because He knows you're capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And I always talk to Adriana about it. Adriana is my fiance, by the way. And she talks to me about it, like, because I tell her, oh my gosh, today was so good at worship, at chapel. And he tells me that she's like, you're a Taylor, you have like friends that they all share your values and all that. Like, you're blessed to be in that environment, which is true. Like, we live somewhere where people push us to be better.
So much easier to just like be better.
Oh, for sure. It's just easier because you see people doing it every day. I see God here every day.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's like a constant connection with God.
Yeah.
But then we have people like our families that they live back home and they live in a crazy world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely harder for them to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, right? If God placed you there, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And I think, just like you said earlier, we have a choice every time we wake up.
Yeah.
And
definitely, and their choice is obviously a bit harder.
For
you know
sure.
What I mean?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the end of the day,
But like I think about Jesus though.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's
Like,
what I'm saying.
bro.
When you devote your life to that, it's
Yeah.
like it becomes a lot easier. And when you realize you're not living for yourself, like, and you're living for Him, and like obviously you use Him as an example, like the stuff that He went through, we'll never ever go through in our lives, and we'll never also understand either. You know what I mean? To that full extent.
No, I will never either.
That full extent, like we'll never understand it. And I hope that one day, like
we will
in heaven, we will.
Yeah,
And I hope that one day we'll like get to see it. You know what I mean? I really hope there's a cinema in heaven. Really hope there's a cinema in heaven. You know what I mean?
Bro, I hope so too.
Showing today, 3 p.m. Daniel and the Lion's Den.
Oh my gosh, that'll be
I'm there,
awesome.
bro. I got the popcorn ready.
Bro,
I got Jesus by my side.
oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
that'd be just so fun. You know what I mean? And
You know,
you
and
got
the-
your family there and your mates and
Oh
stuff.
my
It's like,
gosh.
that'd be
It'd be
insane.
awesome. And I think like for us, we're in that stage of like a preparation.
Yep.
Because Taylor is great to do that.
Mhm.
They prepare you in much better ways than you ever thought.
Yeah.
Or, like you could get to that point. And I think that I know that one day we're gonna go out,
Yeah.
right? And we're gonna be in that environment where we're like, oh my goodness, like,
Yeah.
Jesus forgive them because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
and yeah, I mean that's something. Like I mean, also our parents and just like the example you said about your mom, they're brave, bro.
Yeah.
And they're brave to even say that they follow Jesus in a world like today.
Yeah.
They can even kill you.
Yeah.
So shout out to your mom.
Yeah, for real.
for sure.
Yeah.
The next question.
No, and also like just like how good God is, that He forgives people. Like you were
Yeah.
saying about your grandmother, that that she was almost dying and then she gave her life to Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure God forgave her for all her sins, and
Yeah.
like God does that every day for us. And I
Yeah.
just think that's like so beautiful and so good.
Like
Yeah.
people say all the time, His mercy is new every morning, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, we come back to the show. Every day we got a choice to follow Him.
Yeah.
You know, because He's giving us that chance too. So
Yeah.
that's just great. So I don't
Yeah.
know. You want to ask the next question?
Okay. So the next question is, how does your faith impact the way you compete or train? Because like obviously the harder you train, the more competitive you get. You kind of like just like go a little bit away from the faith,
Yeah.
from like what we're supposed to do as Christians. So how do you deal with that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously at the start, it was very tough learning that balance, and I learned very early on back in Northern Ireland when we went for a missions trip, what not to do. One of our very first games at Money Slaying, they were like one of the good teams that we played, and I was going through one on one with a goalkeeper, and the referee blew the whistle because some guy had like an ankle injury, and I just cussed as loud as I could, and I turned and looked at Coach Ross, and Coach Ross looked at me, and I went, "I'm so sorry," and he was like, "Get off." So I learned very early on, you know what I mean, that like that stuff wasn't going to slide, and obviously I wasn't big into my faith then either. But like as I've dove more into the faith aspect and into like developing myself and changing myself from the inside out, it's became a lot easier. You know what I mean? And it doesn't, like, it definitely is not easy at all. Like there'll be times where I'll slip up, and like 100%. But for someone who comes from a place that like it's so culturally acceptable to cuss every single like word,
We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
like I don't know what the Lord has done to me, or like I don't know what He's done, but He's definitely changed my vocabulary. So I'm not saying that stuff, and I don't need to say that stuff, because I really do believe that stuff like just sounds stupid, and it's just more like an act of anger or a retaliation to like a situation. Whereas then I've learned to like subtract myself from that, like take a breath and then deal with the situation. You know what I mean? And obviously, like when it comes to competing, like bro, there's times where I want to light our team up. You know what I mean? There's just times where I just want to go crazy. Yeah, like kill somebody, or like just like cuss somebody out because they're like not putting in the work that I know that they can put in, or you know what I mean. And it's not even cussing people out to like dog on them. It's more like cussing people out to lift them up. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it is. Like cuss words have a big emphasis and a big impact. You know what I mean? So it's been learning how do I have that impact without cussing and without like using those words. And it's definitely something that has been challenging as a captain, like because there's a lot of boys on our team who come from similar situations as what we do. You know what I mean? Like you're a perfect example of someone who like is on that fine line of like unbelievably competitive and super good in their faith, and then sometimes stops that line, and all of us are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's learning how to deal with that, learning how to deal with those sort of situations myself, and like with other guys on the team, because like if guys see me doing it, like I'm supposed to be the leader. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be the person that's setting that example. I'm supposed to be like the guy who's keeping everybody in check. So if the guy who's keeping everybody in check is going completely off the rails, it's like, how is anybody ever going to respect anything that I say or I do? Or like whenever we're like, say we're doing our Bible studies before our games or whatever, and I'm like preaching about the Lord and stuff, and I'm like, all right, let's effing go, and then it's like, well, all that was just for, all that was for no reason, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a fine balance between it. I think that obviously we're sinners, we slip up all the time. You know what I mean? It's like we're never ever going to be perfect, never. But how can you be the best example of Jesus on the field whilst also competing at the highest level possible? And that's something that Coach Ross taught me. Like that sort of like just crazy mentality of like being so strong and so tough, and like, because there's examples in the Bible of it where people's been so strong and so tough and so courageous, like Daniel in the lion's den, like Brother Gefrain with the lions, and just sat there and was like, all right, Lord, like, you got this.
The Bible says that be strong and courageous.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And people say like, yeah, but how am I gonna do that in the middle of whatever's going on?
Yeah.
But then we also have, I can do all the things through Christ.
Yeah, through Christ and strengthen me. Yeah.
So it's just like, well, the answer is simple, right?
Yeah.
We don't see it right away because it's like, dang, imagine going in the middle of the war and be like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure, and that's definitely something that has developed in my walk, and I think it's developed with spiritual maturity. You know what I mean? It hasn't come from like, Lord, I pray you'll just like take away me cussing, and then he's went, and then I'm like magically not cussing anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, no, like, how does the Bible want me to live? How does Jesus live? How am I able to set an example? How am I able to like show the Lord through my hard work? And like, I think you guys can testify this. Like, I work my nuts off in training and games and whatever else. You know what I mean? And like when people see that and then understand the reason behind it, I think it blows people's mind. Like people who can't even fathom what I've done, and I can't even fathom what Jesus has done. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like it comes from like just devoting your life to the Lord. And like, as we say, like, you have a choice every day. You have a choice every time you step onto that field. What type of player you're going to be, what sort of effort you're going to give. There is uncontrollables that you're going to have 100%, like referees or like bad calls or injuries or whatever. But how can you control the controllable to represent Jesus in the best way possible?
And I think you said it. You have that choice every morning that, I know my problems, so you're already admitting your problems.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I want to fix them.
Yeah.
Then you go back to the word. And then, I mean, I can testify for you too. Like, I see you every time, like, yeah, how do I get better?
Yeah.
How do I change whatever I have to change? You write it down, you go to church, like all the things that you do, all the actions that you take, then you'll see the results later on. And like you see it right now, like if you compare yourself from like with Justin from August to now, like even though it's been only a year or less than a year, like you can still see like a big difference.
Yeah.
But it's because your decision of waking up every day and follow the cross.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's just like, that's the answer, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing, like whenever we do like write those things down and we continue to show up and we continue to do that, the devil attacks us more.
Yeah.
And he uses that against us because he knows we're so close. We're so close to getting the where the Lord wants us to be. So then he like keeps sticking his nose in it, and then you'll maybe fall and you'll maybe go say 2 steps back again. But then Jesus picks you up and then walks you 4 forward. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, yes, it's okay to sin or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, it's so like, it's actually like, it blows my mind how like Jesus forgives me for like every single thing that I've done.
And every day.
You know what I mean?
Every
Like,
day we sin.
yeah, because
even if we think we don't, or maybe we don't want to, like just by a simple thing we think, we're already sinning.
Literally.
Right? So
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like you look at a girl in a certain way, and it's like you've committed adultery. You know what I mean? You're looking in lustful ways, and it's like that's insane. You know what I mean? And people don't think that that's like a real issue, but that's like the devil like creeping in. That's the devil.
How it starts.
Yeah.
Like that's how you create whatever it might happen. Then later on, it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how did it get to this point? And you're
Yeah.
like, well, the little details that you did before,
Yep.
just starts accumulating to whatever
Yeah.
it happens later.
Yeah, definitely. And that happens with like cussing or drinking or you know what I mean, all that sort of stuff. It's like, all right, like how can I run as far away from temptation as possible? Because that's what the Bible tells us to do.
Well, at the end of the day, the Bible also says that God will never tempt you beyond your ability.
Yeah.
You'll never be tempted for except I forgot the verse. It's somewhere in the Bible, but it says that God will never tempt you beyond your ability.
So
So
what you
it's
can take.
yeah, exactly what you can take. So if you're feeling tempted, is like the Bible tells us, you know you can overcome it.
Yeah.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
gotta run from it.
You
Yeah.
gotta run from it, and
Run
yeah,
from it.
you can overcome it for sure.
Awesome. So, time out. Fíjate si está grabando.
Check if
We-
it's still a thing.
No, we gotta make sure if it's recording because yesterday, bro,
It's stopped.
it stopped.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
know. I just
Ah, boy, it gives us fun. I'm
Gives
gonna
us
put that
fun
clip.
as
In
you
the, I'm
get.
gonna put it. I'm gonna put the clip with like.
Make sure. Loading. Da 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 da.
We just wanted to make sure that it was still recording because yesterday it stopped in the middle of our podcast. And
40 minutes
we
gone.
talked for
No,
like
not
15
yesterday.
minutes, bro, and it was
Last
not
week.
recording.
It's not yesterday. It's
Oh
last
yeah, it
week.
was last week.
Last week, guys.
Last week, guys.
Alright, so now you wanna make the next question
So
before?
I don't know if I'm actually
How
answering
much
these
of that?
questions correctly, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
are,
sort of
I mean.
going off
I mean,
on
you
little
are doing it
tangents.
as a context.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
like they teach us here at Taylor.
Yeah.
So
Context.
what would you say to other athletes who are just beginning to walk with Christ? Like just look at the camera and just share whatever you feel that God wants you to share.
Yeah.
For the people that might watch or
What would I say to other athletes? Definitely surround yourself with people who are going to make an impact in your life. Try and get mentors who are going to like lead you towards Christ, and help teach you the ways of the Lord whilst also competing at that highest level. Something for me was I didn't think that's like faith and competing mixed together. But when I found that like faith was the pinnacle for competing at the highest level and competing like at a crazy like intensity, that's when everything changed for me. Like whenever I stopped putting soccer first and stopped putting girlfriends or friends or family or whatever else first and put the Lord at the center of it, everything else sort of fell into place. And I would definitely say that there's a huge thing for me and a huge thing that I would recommend for you guys to do is just put the Lord first. You gotta let go so you can let Him come in and take control.
It's awesome.
let go and let Him.
Let go and let Him.
Let go and let Him.
Yeah, let go and let Him, guys.
So now let's get into the real thing right here. I want to go to your injuries, because you've had 3 major injuries,
4.
4. So I just want you to say a little bit about it.
Yeah.
It's like an overview of all of them, and then I want you to say the struggle of it,
Mhm.
and then I want you to say how you've seen God in the middle of all of them, and
Yeah.
the one you're like currently going through right now.
Yeah, first one was when I was 18. I was playing back home with Linfield. Obviously a professional team. Was like breaking in and out of the first team training. Was up for like training games and stuff. So was doing really well. And was also just got selected to go and represent my country at international level for the schoolboys. So would have been getting my first cap against Austria away. So would have been going on a away trip with the boys, and then was supposed to play Scotland, England, Wales, and the Republic of Ireland, and like it's called the something shield. So it's called
Whatever.
something shield anyway. Yeah. Victory Shield, I think it is. But we're supposed to go and play in that, and the week before, broke my ankle in training. Just came down and just felt it go, and was also supposed to be playing in. We had a cup final back home. It's called the Stephen Sons Cup Final. It's basically the reserve team of like professional academies will play against all the rest of the first teams from all around the country and whatever. And my team had made it to the final, and I played in all the games leading up and stuff, and assisted our goal in the quarters and stuff like that. So I'd be doing really well, and I was supposed to play on that Christmas Day, and obviously couldn't because the week before I'd broken my ankle, and I didn't want to go to the hospital and didn't want to go to the physio to check it out.
Right.
So just rested for a bit and then just couldn't walk. Like just had a pain and went and found out that I'd broken a bone in my ankle and had to get surgery. So that ruled me out for like a year. But that lit the dream of going to America again for me, which was amazing. And I definitely seen God. Like I was so angry at God. I was like, you took this away from me, and you know how important this is for me. But then I seen him work with him, like lighting that fire to go to America again. And like if I hadn't have broken my ankle and stuff like that, and had those sort of stuff stripped away from me, I wouldn't be here today. You know what I mean? So looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, wow, like that was definitely a God thing. Like the plans that I had and the things that I thought were going to be amazing, he went, no, I got something even better. You know what I mean? And then obviously got out to California. And the first week of practice, same ankle, broke a bone in it by fighting.
Fighting?
Yeah, I was fighting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was fighting. One of the guys who had been there for a while and stuff was pissed because I'd taken his spot, and just like was going for me, you know, when someone's like intentionally just like trying to get you, and I knew it, and obviously 18 or 19-year-old Justin from Northern Ireland ain't gonna take it, bro. It's like I'm gonna get him back.
Right.
So we were losing, or we were playing first team against second team. He was in second team, I was in first team, and I went and scored and assisted. We were winning 2-0, and then the coach swapped us teams, and I went and scored and assisted for the other team, and I brought it back to 2-2. But he was like just chirping and stuff, and I goes, "Why? Just because you can't do it on both sides of the ball?" I got there, and that sort of got him. And I remember we going up for a header, and obviously I'm shouting, "Justies!" I'm going up for a header, and came down and just seen this arm swinging at me.
Oh, wow.
And I went, wow, and I like ducked under it and grabbed him and threw him, and then went to go and get him, and had 2 coaches and like 5 guys holding me back, and there was one guy that was holding him, and it was his friend, and he came round, and my ankle got caught in the turf that we were playing on, and he came round and just kept like kicking. He must have got like 3 or 4 kicks in or whatever.
You kicked your ankle?
Yeah, so he kicked my ankle while it was stuck in the turf, but obviously the adrenaline was flowing, so I didn't feel nothing.
So I like you back.
Yeah, like I walked over, I just like was like, right, I'm gonna leave it. Like took my penny off, just threw it on the ground, went and like sat on the other field, like went and lay down on the other field, and was lying there. And next minute the adrenaline just went, and just went, and my ankle just was like the sorest thing I've ever felt in my life, and I was like, oh my goodness. And
that's crazy.
We obviously it was my freshman year, and I was a bit stupid, and I told the trainer I'm playing, so we taped my ankle for the full year, my full freshman year, and I was actually like a very big role within the team as well, so played a lot of minutes and stuff, but just taped it and took a lot of pain meds and before games and stuff. And then after that season, then went and got surgery, and the surgery then was like the whole rehab was like spring and stuff, so missed out spring season, stayed at California in the summer, be able to do more rehab to get back for it would have been my sophomore year then, and 4 games into our sophomore year we were playing OUAZ, who were like ranked, I think they were ranked 10th in the nation or something. So really good side, and a lot of international boys like how we had, and it was like the 87th minute, and this guy like broke our line of attack, or broke our line of defense, and was coming onto our final line, and I was like just so gassed. Like I was obviously only building fitness up and stuff, and had played a lot of minutes beforehand, and he ran through, and I was like, if I don't like try and slide here, he's going all the way, and he's in, and it's the 87th minute, and I'm someone who puts their body on the line for the team and stuff, and slid and just hurt, and everyone thought it was my shin guard, and I tried to get up and just couldn't. I literally remember like that's the loneliest I've ever felt in my life. Lying on that field, I heard nothing. I just heard like it was like just a mute, and I was literally grabbing the turf, like grabbing it. And we can actually, if you wanted to put the video in, you can just put the video in, and you'll see it. And it's the loneliest I've ever felt. And the trainer was like, "You're okay," and I'm like, "No, I broke my leg. I knew straight away. I was like, no, I broke my leg. So I actually broke my tibia and fibia in my right leg, completely shattered both of them. So I had to get metal rods and metal screws put in to my leg, and that was nearly a year recovery to get back, and that would have then. So then, obviously, after all that sort of stuff, like I was going through this, my grandma just passed away with cancer, back home, so I had to do like the funeral and stuff online, and I was dating someone out there as well, and that sort of um, like broke off and stuff too. So there was just a lot of things all had happened at one time, and that's when obviously the mental health sort of started like deteriorating. Like I lost so much weight. I think I was down to like I think I went to like 120 pounds.
Oh.
So I was like super skinny, wasn't eating, was just like lying around my bed, obviously doing class and whatever, couldn't exercise. It was just really went into a dark place and with mental health, but it opened an opportunity to be an assistant coach role there my sophomore year. So I was doing a lot of video analysis, scouting reports, all that sort of stuff, which was obviously fun, but like the devil just kept attacking and was like the thoughts were like, yeah, this world would be better off without you. Like you're done. You don't need to be here anymore.
Wow.
That sort of stuff, and it actually got to the point where I booked the flight home early because I was like I couldn't take it anymore. And as soon as I got off that plane, I hugged my mum and cried as like hard as I hugged her as tight as I could have because I was like so close to like just ending it all. You know what I mean? But I'm so thankful that I didn't, and I'm so thankful that the Lord's kept me here because He's given me another opportunity to be able to live and be where I'm at now. And obviously, coming out here has been amazing. My first year here was injury free, which is amazing. My second year was injury free too for all fall, which was great. Apart from the all bumps and bruises that you get with obviously playing, and then J term came, which is our sort of January term, where we start basically working our way into spring, and we were playing small sided, and I like had our goalkeeper had the ball, like someone passed the ball back, and I'd pressed through, and like sort of like blocked his pass, and it was going in, and I was in sort of like a split squat position, and tried to like get up really quick to tap it in. I couldn't get up, and everyone was everyone was just laughing, and I was laughing too. I was like, they were like, just see what happened, and I was like, bro, I couldn't move, like I don't know what happened. And then ever since then, I just had like this pain and this soreness, and I was like, bro, there's something not right. And I went and seen 3 doctors. They were all amazed. They were all like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like I could not tell you what's wrong with you. And it was like so frustrating to hear that because it was like,
What do you
obviously, yeah, like what do you mean you did? Like you're supposed to know. Like what are you talking about? Like
That's why I'm coming here.
yeah, like what are you talking about? And obviously, like having to watch you boys from the sideline obviously hurts. You know what I mean? And I mean, taking up the assistant coach role was obviously amazing from January and until September until I come back. But I ended up with a tear in my abductor and a sports hernia. So I 1 week and a week and a half post that so far, and recovery's been going well. And obviously, like it sucked as we talked about that I was supposed to be with my brother all summer, and like I haven't got to see my brother like properly in nearly a year. You know what I mean? And that's obviously hard, but I would have been coaching with him and stuff, and just to have all my plans redirected. Like I found out that I had to have surgery on the Wednesday, and I had my whole summer changed by the Friday. In 2 days, my whole summer was flipped on its head. Like I was supposed to be making enough money to obviously help cover school for this year and for the summer and the fall and stuff, and that was all stripped away from me. And I obviously can't work here because there's nothing open. There's not really much going on. I can't work off campus as an international and stuff. So like that whole sort of financial situation of it all has been like really tough and like really like weight burn. You know what I mean? And but just with like free prayer and just getting closer to the Lord and like reading my Bible and like talking to people who are like so spiritually mature and stuff, and like that sort of reminder today that like, hey, the Lord's got it. No matter what's going on, like the Lord's got it. And looking back on my injuries and stuff and everything that went on, like it's all led to me being here. Like I've made the best friends that I could ever have asked for, like brothers, not just in Christ, but like actual people that I would
Yep.
call family. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've been able to meet my amazing girlfriend Ali,
Mm.
who's been a complete blessing, and her family's been amazing as well. And her sister's getting married in the summer, so
Oh, nice.
get to go and see that, which will be nice.
Yeah.
So she's just waiting on her turn,
Mm.
which is
You gotta
crazy.
hurry up, bro.
Yeah, bro, she's pressing me for it, so she is. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how.
Ali,
We'll
come
see
on,
if she's
Ali.
lucky. We'll see if
He's
you're
taking his
lucky.
time.
Sorry. But yeah, I mean, like it's been like looking on that at it from that perspective, it's like it's been unbelievable, and how it's changed and shaped my life. I've looked at it from like that's just been the Lord working. Like that's been insane, and to be able to lead in such a way as a captain and as a soccer
Mm.
coach has been phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
the experience I've got, like from doing what I've been doing, like throughout spring and throughout like the summer and stuff, is just stuff that people don't get.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that it's definitely going to help me for later on in my career and trying to get a job after college and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I definitely see it, and something that I have that I actually have tattooed is Philippians 1:6, and it's
Mm.
be patient.
Yeah.
God is still working. And it's like He's gonna basically do whatever He can to finish
Yeah.
the plans that He started in your life, no matter how big the mountaintops are, how low the valleys are, what sideways you gotta go, or up and downs, or whatever it is. Like He is gonna finish the work that He started in you because He loves you and because He's not finished with you.
Yep.
So no matter how hard you think your life is, when you turn to the Lord, it's still going to be hard,
Oh, for sure.
but then you have another purpose to live.
Yep.
You have an actual reason
Yep.
to wake up every single day and be like, you know what? Life does suck, but I'm going to choose to live it for the Lord
Mm.
because I know that He's going to have a greater plan for me and He's going to lead me to places that I can't even think about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's something that I've seen in my life is like I had these plans written out and the Lord's literally went and just ripped them up and been like, all right, I'm going to put you here in the middle of
Indiana.
a bunch of cornfields.
Upland, Indiana.
Upland,
There's nothing to
Indiana.
do here, guys.
There's literally a Dollar General. I walk the Dollar General every single day. I don't even buy anything. I just walk there because there's nothing else to do. But if you are in town, Ivanhoe's. If Ivanhoe's wants to sponsor the podcast,
Oh, Ivanhoe's, come on.
get it going. Go
Hey.
take some ice cream.
But for sure, bro, I can really see how God's been working. And there's this verse in Proverbs. It's like commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He'll establish your plans.
Yeah.
And you've been committing to the Lord everything. You know, you've
Yeah.
been committing to the Lord your life, and that's why He's been doing whatever He wants,
Yeah.
not whatever you do.
Yeah.
Not whatever you do want. So that's like just a sign that He's
Yeah.
literally working in your life, and there's a reason behind everything. You might not know it yet,
Yeah.
which is fine, but you will eventually. And I think it's gonna be greater than you think, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're here now, I know it sucks a little bit,
Yeah.
but He's just preparing you for what you're asking
Yeah.
for, and even more.
Yeah, for
So-
sure. And I definitely like see it as an opportunity for my brother to grow too. You know what I mean? Like my brother probably wouldn't have stepped outside his comfort zone as much if I had been around. You know what I mean? And
Got to know.
yeah. So now he's on his own. You know what I mean? He's gotta stand on his 2 feet, and like I've been praying a lot for him just to be that light for everyone around him and being a light for the kids and stuff too. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Right. So, you got anything else?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can say that testimonies are meant to like tell.
Yeah.
You know, you have to tell your testimonies because people will see this and they'll be like, "Wow." Like, cause sometimes we think we're going through something bad, but then there's always someone that's worse.
Yeah,
than you.
worse. Yeah.
And I think you've been through a lot, but even though you've been through a lot, you've been through a lot of good things as well.
Yeah.
And you're in a place where a lot of people will be blessed to be at.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. That's when we have to focus in those things, right?
Yeah.
Just be positive, like you said.
Yeah.
And I think I know this is gonna impact at least one person. It might
Yeah.
be your mom, it might be your dad, or it might be a random person, but it will.
Yeah.
And that's why He made you go through all that, so you can be someone who testifies about him,
Yeah.
because he knew you were gonna stay strong. He knew you were not gonna run away,
Mm.
because you want to be with him.
Yeah.
And that's why he's making you go through all that, because he knows you're gonna stay still, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you, I appreciate everything you do for us as a captain. You're a great captain, and I for sure get motivated with all these stories for sure, because like I tell you, sometimes I think I'm struggling, but then I hear that and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
wow, I guess I'm blessed, right? I guess I'm the best moment of my life. So I just want to thank you, for that, and
Yeah.
for coming here and sharing that with all these people. I know they're gonna be very grateful too.
Yeah. No,
Go
I
ahead.
appreciate it, and it's definitely a blessing to be on here to be able to share, and like whether it impacts one person or 10 people or whatever, you know what I mean? And like if people do have questions or whatever as well, and like they want to know more, or they want to like reach out to find out more, I'm sure like even the guys on socials, obviously, like their socials are probably linked in their descriptions and stuff.
Right,
And
right.
I mean, like you guys are more than welcome to like reach out to me as well. And
Yeah, for sure.
um,
We're gonna tag him there.
yeah, like reach out, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions and stuff you got. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a huge help that um yeah, you guys are doing this, and it's been amazing to see obviously your guys' growth as not just players but as people, and in your walk with the Lord. And like one thing that like has like completely like blown me away is like the change in you. Yeah, but the change in Gusto from like I don't know if I've ever seen someone move less in my life from Gusto's freshman year at Taylor and Burgwall. His routine was the bed to the PlayStation
Yes.
to the couch, and that was it, bro. And I was like, "Gusto, you wanna come? No. Gusto, you wanna come? No."
Yeah.
And it was like to see him like finally find his people, and to see like the stuff that I was like pushing you for, that you hated me for, you're now doing, and I'm like that's like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable to see.
Yeah.
And like to see how the Lord's like changed you and actually like helped you to understand like what you've got here, and like being able to compete at the highest level, and being able to like be around people who are going to bless you, and like your brother coming here, like that's insane. You know what I mean? Like
Blessing,
two,
yeah.
bro, like that's crazy. And obviously I know your family, and I love your family and stuff, and to know your brother and like to see him actually like live out his dream to come to America, the dream that you've lived out, and for you guys to share that, like
Yeah.
wow, like what more
it's
could you want? You know what I mean? Just two guys from Venezuela living it up in
Yeah.
America,
Nah,
bro.
it's,
Like
it's amazing.
it's definitely a blessing from the Lord, and like I definitely like I really love getting to know you boys over the past, obviously you the past year, but Gusto's been here from day dot, so
Yeah, I just think it's incredible how God works in people's life.
yeah,
Like even like me being here, like at Taylor, like we talk about how important the environment is.
yeah,
Like even me being surrounded by like good people, Christian people, I just like didn't feel it like
yeah,
entirely in my heart. You feel me?
hmm,
And then when I had like an actual encounter with God, then like everything changed.
yeah,
I started to see life differently. I started to see like things better.
yeah,
I'm just like, dang, Taylor is like is mid.
yeah,
And then I just look at Taylor and I'm like, wow, this is really beautiful. It's just amazing to be here.
yeah,
And like yeah, like you said, like my brother coming here, that's
bro.
just a
It's gonna be
blessing. Like
sick.
really,
Yeah,
it's really
I'm
a blessing.
excited for it, bro.
I'm really excited too, because like I mean really like we as internationals that we leave home, we all left home like earlier.
Yeah,
And like we have like younger brothers, like you have a younger brother, Jeremy
yeah,
has a younger brother, me too. And like when I left, my brother was 13 years old,
yeah.
and now he's 17, bro. Like
I
he's a
know.
completely different person.
It's
And
insane.
like I'm just like super excited to like have the chance to like live with him again.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's just
insane. Like
amazing.
as you said there, like when you leave, bro, you actually don't like actually realize it. Like when I left, my sister was 5.
Wow.
The last time I got to spend my sister's birthday with her was when she was 5.
5.
She's now 10.
Wow.
My brother just turned 18.
Yeah, that's
You know
crazy.
what I mean? Like I've been gone for
He was
5 years.
13.
Yeah, I've been gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's like it's insane. Like they miss out on so much of
Yeah.
their life growing up, and miss out on like my grandparents are obviously like still
Yeah.
back home and stuff too. And it's like obviously you know with your grandparents you're
Yeah.
like you're sort of waiting for that call a little bit sometimes, and it's like it's scary. Like to just see like if your mom's called you in the morning, you're like
Oh, my
no,
gosh,
you know what I mean? But
yeah.
it's like just knowing that
You
start
start,
appreciate more like every single moment.
yeah,
Like this
definitely.
Bible, for example, my granddad gave it to me.
Yeah.
2000. My granddad gave it to me in 2023.
Yeah.
26th of July,
Yeah.
and he passed away the next month. Literally
Yeah.
the next month.
It's
And
insane.
he gave it to me when I was home. And then I came here, and then he passed away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still like being far from home. We gotta really appreciate the moments that we share with our families.
Oh,
It makes you
100%.
appreciate it so much more.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I don't think people actually like fathom like what we go through, isn't
I
like
was
the
gonna
extra
I was
that
gonna
we
say
go
that
through.
like I think we as internationals, it's just like I think we're crazy, bro. Like,
We're insane.
I think we're
We're
insane.
nuts,
Why
bro.
would we leave our countries with our families and friends to just come play soccer? Like that's insane. And I think that it's just especially like when you come here and then your walk with God starts here
Yeah,
is even like crazier, bro. Because you want to go back and you want to change your whole family. You
yeah,
want them to be, you want them to experience the same love that you have
yeah,
experienced here with God.
and you,
yeah. And then yeah.
And then it's kind of hard
mom's
because,
calling you, bro.
bro,
Your mom's calling you.
oh my gosh, I'm
Oh,
talking about you right now.
mama!
That's insane.
Yeah.
It means I gotta talk to her later. But yeah, bro, you want them to like feel that love, and
Yeah,
you want them to be safe. Because
yeah,
in my case, my family wasn't like they wasn't Christian when I was
yeah,
there. I don't know if they are now, but
yeah,
but like you want them to feel that, and you want them to be safe, and you wanna talk to them about God and Jesus and all that,
yeah,
and it makes it hard for us to be far away.
yeah. And it's hard to do whenever you've only got 20 minutes FaceTime.
Yeah. So
It's like every so many days, you know what I mean? Just
yeah.
because of schedules and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I saw when I went back home was like how I can be that light on my family
Yeah.
and like getting my brother to like do Bible studies with me and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was insane. Like he like started going to church and started like reading his Bible and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And obviously, it's something that I want to do is to lead my siblings and lead my family to the Lord
Yeah.
and in a stronger way. Like they all believe in the Lord and they all like are Christians and stuff. But like we can all say that we're Christians and we can all like live as if we're Christians, but we can always get stronger and we can always grow deeper and we can always like be in a better relationship with the
For
Lord.
sure.
You know what I mean? And I think that's something that we as internationals and as people just have to do whenever we go home and whenever we get those small sort of minutes with whoever we're in interaction with.
People just see like the outside, really.
Yeah.
Like when they see you, they just see like the outside. They don't really like know what's really going on. And I feel like it's that way for like every person.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta like understand and put yourself in their shoes, and like just because like we don't really know what's going on with them in their lives.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
It's been great. I'm looking forward to watching this because it's been awesome. And
Yeah.
if there's anything else you want to add up for whoever's watching,
Share your favorite verse.
Favorite verse. I think right now my favorite verse would be I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Obviously with
Philippians
4:13.
4:13.
yeah, obviously being in the situation that I'm in right now, I can't rely on my own strength because I ain't strong enough. So I have to rely on the Lord. You know what I mean? And I definitely know that He brings me closer to Him through these like sort of injuries and stuff. And I don't want this just to be a season where I grow closer to Him. I want it to be like that choice every day. And even when I'm out of this like injury and stuff, like how can I choose the Lord? You know what I mean? And that's definitely my favorite Bible verse and right now, and it's definitely something that I'm holding close to my heart. And yeah, I mean, all I gotta say is make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and follow to whatever you gotta do to make these here boys pop off. And it's not even these boys that are actually like doing it because they're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the Lord and to share that that word and the testimonies and yeah, they got great stuff in English and Spanish. So if you
Spanglish.
yeah, Spanglish. So if you don't know that stuff, you may get to know it and you may get the subtitles on for the Spanish stuff. So yeah.
Alright, awesome. See you guys on the next one.
Thank you guys for watching.
Peace.
Stay tuned for next episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, fellas. Oh, it was good.
That's good, bro.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
thanks. Yeah, bro.
No, come on, bro.